Happy Thursday, rock lovers. Welcome to tonight's Cut and Chat, a live and interactive lapidary learning session. My name's Lynette Kong from Highland Park's marketing team, and thank you for joining us. Tonight is a special night. After weeks of hard work, we are ready to unveil the new HPL lab. And as our VIP customers, we want to give you an exclusive first look. Zeke and Tay will be setting up different HPL equipments that we will be using in our lab and take you through the step-by-step process. So if you just ordered a machine from us or are thinking of getting one, this is a great learning opportunity to get valuable tips on how you can get the most out of your HPL equipment from day one. This is your chance to ask your technical questions, get answers to specific challenges that you're encountering in your shop, and even share your own tips and tricks. All these while having tons of fun. If you're new to our cut and chat, or if you just want to say hi, please put something on the chat so we can say hello back. Hi, Ed. Hi, Edward. Hi, Kent. Hello, Jax. Hi, Susan. Hello, everyone. We would also like to invite everyone watching us online to join us here in our VIP Zoom room by signing up using the link that you are seeing. Before we begin, here's a short teaser of the show we have in store for you tonight. All right, we're super excited to get this cut and chat started. So let's dive right into some guidelines. There are two ways to ask your questions. First, you can put your questions on the chat. The chat box can be found at the bottom of your screen. Make sure to send your chat to everyone so we can see them. A member of the HPL team will read your questions to Zeke out loud. For those who are watching on Facebook, you can enter your questions on the comments section, and someone from the HPL team will read your questions to Zeke. Second, to make this cut and chat more interactive, you can ask Zeke your question yourself. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a button that says Reactions. Click on that button, and you will see an option that says Raise Hand. When you raise your hand, a member of the HPL team will unmute you, and you'll receive a prompt saying that the host is asking you to unmute. Click on Unmute, and you will be able to ask Zeke your question. After you ask your question, we will lower your hand and mute you so the next person in line can ask his or her question. If you have a new question later on during the show, you can raise your hand again. We will be alternating unmuting people and asking questions from the chat so everyone gets a fair chance of their questions to be answered. For the Wheel of Fortune giveaway, if the initial winner isn't here, we will re-spin the wheel until a winner who is present in the room is selected. So now, get ready Get ready to learn cutting and polishing techniques, ask your technical questions, and have tons of fun. To officially start tonight's cut and chat, please welcome Mineral Maestro Zeke Rimple and Rock Princess Taylana Rowland.
I love it.
I don't know who that is.
Hey, y'all, how's it going? Showing you the new lab setup is a bit of a stretch and an overpromise. We've got some machines in here.
I'm much taller than Zeke.
Much taller is a stretch. You're a little taller.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't like being able to see it from that view. I like just being able to see you next to me here because I can glance
Yeah,
up.
can do it. Look, we're the same height this way.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind of you.
But today due to a couple of reasons, we are setting up the lab with you guys. A bunch of you wanted us to show you how to set up the machines. So the first one we're going to set up is the CD1.
Well, we're gonna get it uncrated so you guys can see it.
Uncrated.
Setting it up is a stretch.
And then, do you want to highlight the other camera real quick?
And then we also grabbed the CD4, so I can show you guys that a little bit. We got a 36-inch saw. We still got to grab a couple machines from upstairs, so Tay and I will be bouncing around grabbing stuff still. We got some of the smaller machines there. We got an Everclean tank. Got Tay's saw. Couple of the different slab saws. And we also got to set up John's toolboxes over there. But one of the things we wanted to show you guys is a trick on just how to get the crimps off of these crates, because the first time I did it, I certainly took longer than it takes me now.
That is true. So we're probably going to get started today.
So we're actually in the same building. This is just new. Oh, let me give you guys a tour of the room.
Oh, wait. When you do that, I'm going to go run and grab a drill and a drill bit because for the roof of this.
And the 10mm socket and driver. And
drill driver and socket. Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to do the tools you need to do. So I'll be right back.
So here's the room here. Nice tall ceilings. And you can see just like that 36 does not look very big in this room. Neither does the core drill. This is an absolute massive core drill. And what we did is we ran outlets along the entire back of the wall. So each one of these metal posts you see has an outlet on it. And then we ran a copper pipe all the way across the back here so that we can set up water directly to every machine. So we'll get that hooked up eventually. We're not ready to do that yet, but we're getting close. But you can see just tons of outlets. We were staining the floor. We were here till 5 a.m. this morning, getting the floors finished up. They look so much better. But and then along this area back here, we're gonna do for all the wet machines. We're gonna do a basically a gutter that goes along the back and goes to the drain over here. But we got a big industrial kitchen sink to be able to wash stuff. It's got all the traps in there, and then the pump to pump out our dirty water. Water, we'll use like the cabbing machines, the wet belt sander, trim saw, machines like that. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. And then in this section over here, we'll put a bunch of the rough rock that we do the live cells with. So we're excited to have this set up. And then this door actually goes into our other space. So I'll give you, while Tay's grabbing tools and stuff, I'll give you guys a sneak peek of this. This is the room. We're still doing construction in here. They're putting in rooms along this back wall back there. So we'll have a break room over here, and then a couple studios that will do like the crystal events and the rough rock and all that kind of stuff in here. And then a lot of the shipping will get moved to this area in the warehouse. So between these two rooms, it's a little over 15,000 square feet. And then I'll show you, I'm so excited about these totes. Sherman got these awesome totes that we put dividers in. So you can see all of the rock will go in these dividers. And the one of these quadrants holds about a half of a barrel. So they're pretty good. You can put 4,000 pounds of rock in one of these. So we're really excited about that. And then this area right here is where the 1 meter core drill will go. So we'll put a core drill here that will do 1 meter cores. This, to contrast this for you guys, this CD1 crate is the medium core drill, and it looks so much bigger than the 36. I'll come over here so you guys can see a little bit more of a side view. Like if you look at that, the crate looks a lot bigger. Yeah, no kidding, Jack. That's a great idea. So this is actually our little core drill. This one will do up to 6-inch cores. So I'm very excited to be able to set this up. While we're standing here, I'll tell you guys a little bit about this.
I am back.
The wiring on this is one of the questions that I get a lot for. Oh, whoops, I'm pressing buttons from people. These do not have a ground wire. On this 220, you have 2 hot wires. So that brown and blue is hot wire. And then this green and yellow is a neutral wire. So when you wire this up to 220, those are your 2 hot wires. And then that one you'd wire to your neutral. Or if you don't have a neutral, you'd wire that to the ground. But we get that question a lot because these are not US colors, they're national colors. So, and then this piece hanging off the side here is 220 outlets to plug in, like your pumps and stuff. So, but I'm so excited. This is the core drill that I had in my shop. I'm so excited that we're going to get 3 core drills in here. Ooh.
Got it. First of all, I saw your comment, Ed, about the cots here. I joked about it, but Sherman doesn't want us sleeping over here for a couple of reasons. Safety is one of them. Addiction is the other.
You say addiction?
Addictions are never good.
What are we talking about? I missed something.
Oh, sleeping over here, rock cutting.
That's not an addiction. I don't know what you're talking about. I leave occasionally.
But we're going to start with taking apart this. You need technically 3 tools to uncrate a saw from us. Most of our crates come in, most of our saws come in crates like this, fabricated in China. The bigger ones, for when we ship them, we drill down a big piece of plywood because we have to stack stuff on top of this. And without this, the top is too weak and it would collapse. So the first thing we're going to do is, oh, someone's upstairs, is take this big piece of plywood off. Anything else, Zeke?
No, I'm learning with us. Enjoying watching you work.
Typically, I'd say use a drill, not a drill driver for this. The drill driver is a little bit aggressive.
Well, that, and she grabbed the DeWalt's. I'm a Milwaukee person.
Yeah, you hate the DeWalt.
I don't hate DeWalt's. Milwaukee's just better.
All right. Sure. These are stripped.
While Tay continues to do this, I'll show you guys a little bit more. One of the other things we did is we have 2 furnaces in here blowing on both sides of the room. So keep it nice and hot. And we're down a little bit lower than ground level. So it doesn't get hot in here in the summer, but it does get cold. And then we installed this air exchange. So because we're, doing cutting and stuff, we talk a lot about safety. This machine will actually change the air in this room totally every hour. It changes it, I think, 3 or 4 times an hour. So that we're constantly breathing fresh air in here and filters it out. And then the other thing we installed was this dehumidifier. So it keeps it, because, being in New England, it's like 1,000% humidity all the time. That keeps it dry in here so we don't wind up with tons of humidity. Do you need help getting the wood off? Do you need help?
No.
This would be Tay being unsafe by taking the entire sheet of plywood off herself instead of asking for help.
What?
I'm harassing you. Good grief.
What?
Gonna chop off a toe.
All right, we got the annoying part off. That part's always fun to take off. I say lovingly. The next part, which I'm sure a lot of you who have bought Highland Park machines are used to. Next, we take off the C-clamps. They're not technically C-clamps, they're more these little spring things.
Cramps.
But typically, you have 2 sections of it. You have one that has an opening on the side, which is the shorter section. And then you have the longer section. Because this one has a little cut in the top, you don't want to take it off with this because it will lift one side and not both, like that. So I do, get it low, pop it off with a flathead screwdriver. And you just do that.
A big flathead screwdriver is definitely the best tool to do this.
It gives you lots of leverage.
And you can see that it can pop off really easy. The first time I did this, Sherman was like, good grief, you're taking so long. But you can see it goes really quick if you just use a big screwdriver.
How were you doing it the first time you did that?
I was using an actual like flat little pry bar, but it was too big.
Well,
The screwdriver actually makes it go faster. Although I do recommend that you unbolt the 10mm bolts around the sides before you take all the crimps off.
yeah.
And you should take the top off before you start taking the sides off.
I'm showing them.
Tay would be demonstrating the not correct way.
All right. Everyone has preferences. What Zeke's saying is right. I typically, because most of the times that I have to unpack these, it's to either fix them in a day, open them, check them, put something inside them, and ship them out. So I do it in the fast, but not necessarily best way.
If you're taking apart the crate, though, you want to start with the top and work your way down.
Yeah, I usually undo one side to take off a side of it. It's become a habit at this point.
But because we're actually opening this all the way up, watch your
Scared
head.
me.
You want to take the top off and then unbolt all of the lag bolts around the edge, and then you start taking the sides off.
Oh, I'm tired.
Because it's much easier to take them off when you're just undoing the crimps than if you're trying to unbolt them while they're flopping back and forth.
For my big machine loving friends, I recommend opening these with a friend. You're going to need a friend to help get this big thing off the top in the safest way possible.
Yes, in fact, our lovely 36-inch saw has a nice dent right here because somebody dropped the lid on it and then proceeded to drop it again.
Who's that somebody?
Was not me.
Huh.
It was before I got here. Let me put this down for a second so I can help Tay lift this off. This one's really heavy.
So you should have showed this. You can't just slide these lids off. There's a piece of plywood that keeps this from moving. So I use a flathead screwdriver to pop it up and then lift it off. Let's push it that way.
Well, you gotta undo the other end because it's nice and heavy. It also helps if you wear gloves so you don't get splinters.
It's very true.
You got it?
Not really.
Here, wait. Let me set my end down first, and then I can help you.
I just took all that on one arm.
Don't hurt yourself. Good grief.
This is why we have.
This is why Tay's falling apart on me because she's trying to do it all herself.
That is not true. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is, would you do the honors?
No, ladies first, go ahead.
That's
Do you want me to do it?
first then.
I can do
Remember,
it.
folks, if you're going to be bending down and you have long hair, don't run the drill. That's how you become bald in one easy step. All right. Oh.
I feel like this is the ultimate unboxing video.
Just gonna move these. What Zeke is doing right now is using a 10mm bit to take out the screws that hold the crate together. And as you can hear, that bit is a little bit, well, that socket is a little bit stripped because you take a punch. Hurry up, Zeke.
Well, I could go faster if you brought the Milwaukee.
I only saw the batteries. I couldn't find the drill. I'm gonna blame you for wherever you put it.
We got a bin for these yet?
No. No, we do not. I've been using that. So, Zeke. What? I had a train of thought.
I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Never listened to me. It is selective hearing. Ooh, I got a splinter. I do recommend for when you take these apart, it's just plywood to wear it on. Or have really creepy house. All right. Can you catch this side for me, Zeke?
Yeah. Whew, that's a big machine.
Don't. My head is there.
You're fine.
Yeah. You got it? All right, big man. Can you hold this side? This is why we say you need a friend to do this.
Oh man, you guys want to see this core drill? Look at this beast. Absolutely a monster of a machine. This is so cool. This one, so you got the head that moves up and down. This one also has a table that moves up and down. It's beautiful. And then all these boxes underneath are gonna be the, like, I'm pretty sure that's pumps. You got this one, yeah, this one has plexiglass on it.
What?
And then I think there's some bits in there as well for us.
Yeah. Ready to take that side off?
Yes.
I need to hold
I'm
it.
just the oohing and awing the beauty of this machine.
Uh-huh.
And if you're not aware, for the core drills, you do need an air compressor.
And ample room.
Yes, well, this one is more of a commercial machine. The CD4 is kind of the hobbyist one.
It's like Christmas.
Like Christmas. It is like Christmas.
Does that make John Santa Claus?
This one, I also... No, we don't need to set up the hydraulics on this. Do we? I think we do have to set the hoses up on this one.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think we'll get all the way through this one tonight.
No.
Yeah, so there's the box of core bits that comes with it.
Yep. We'll get it partially done. And then we'll set up other machines tonight that, because I don't think the majority of you have a meter tall
Yeah, oh wow.
drill sitting around needing to be set up. Although you could shop it at Highland Park Lapidary.
Everybody should have a core drill.
That's what
At least those that...
it's the space for a core drill, Zeke.
The little one's not bad. This one is pretty big. This one wouldn't fit in most people's garages.
No.
Yeah, monster control box over here.
Yeah. Anyone is wondering what it's like working at Highland Park Lapidary, it's a lot of moving boxes.
You know, it's funny. I've probably set up more machines than I've used since I got here.
One of us. One of us. I thought these would be heavier. Pleasantly surprised.
This feels like a box of jigs.
What degree ones? That's the question. I'm getting old, Zeke. I'm not as spry as I once used to be. I'm not sure what you're trying to tell us, James. Plus, 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 plus.
Plus, 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 plus.
If John,
That would be so funny if we had John here to pop out of the side of the crate.
I'd be terrified. Rich
Ye-
hobbyist? I've never got to use one of these.
This core drill, I believe, is 8 feet tall, but you need room to be able to stand it up as well. So you probably need about 10 foot ceilings.
That's true. Because what we're gonna have to do, and this is why this machine is more for a production setting, is we need to use the forklift to sit this up, which most people don't have a forklift lying around.
You don't got a forklift lying around?
No, I got 3. What you talking about?
That was funny.
But
Awesome.
basically what we have to do is lift this that way.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we want to do that now or later.
I think this is going to be a later project. I just wanted to mostly show getting the crate off, and not to mention people want to just see the machines. So we can set this one aside and do another one of the machines.
What machine do you guys want to see set up?
We should probably put the wheels on one of the saws. And so we're set up a slab saw. You bring the pallet jack?
Vibratory tumbler or low speeds? Do we have the low speed down here?
Not down here. It's still upstairs still.
How far away is it? Where?
It's just upstairs on the
Pallets that I can put them on? Or are they on tables?
they're on tables.
I got it.
You're gonna go get them?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna use the electric forklift though. I don't need the long forks.
Yeah, I don't know where the key is. +1 on the 12-inch precision. I don't think we have a 12-inch precision, although they're pretty easy. There's not really much you got to do to that one.
We do have a 10-inch precision. Petunia, the saw that I rant about all the time, my little baby.
The key's on top.
I'll show you my little baby. Highland Park Classic right here. We'll go to the museum.
We should also
We
do
do
the 10-inch saw.
Tabletop assembly here, but here she is. As you can tell, she's a new version. She's very light green in comparison to the older versions. Right next to her is a settling tank and a giant drill. But this is her. This is Petunia, the love of my life. She's been through so much. She is now sparkling clean. Zeke, as a lovely, lovely surprise to me, set up.
Actually clean.
Yeah, Petunia. Petunia has never been this clean in years.
Give them an up close. Tell them about the saw.
All right.
You hear, look, if you pivot that, you can lift the.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, we got new toys.
Although don't die on the tripod.
That's not my fault. All right. This is Petunia. Lovely, lovely girl. As you can see, I have replaced the vices rather recently. But this is no longer produced. This is a 10-inch precision trim saw. The square rail design, one of the first saws we implemented the square rails instead of the round rails. And yeah, every part on this saw has been replaced, but this is her, the second saw John ever produced. I know, a little piece of history. She's been banged up a little. That's what happens when you put your rock and your vise a little bit too low. It will hit this arbor cover. Better that than your flange, but you want to be careful for that. But yeah, this is her. And that right there is the lowest number on a saw you're going to see produced this century. We started at 138, I believe.
Why such an odd number?
There was a reason behind that. So the reason why we did not start them at saw 1, 2, 3, 4 is one, if someone got saw number 1, there would be a lot of competition behind that, or people.
I'd
would be
want
like,
saw
"Oh,
number
what's the
1.
first one?" So we decided to start a little bit farther down the line. But yeah, as you can see, now we're in the 6,000s or something. Yeah, little baby right here. Little piece of history. I love her. I talk about her all the time. What you looking at, Zeke? And here we have a 16 precision slab saw. This is the newer design. Nice and clean. The team was cleaning all of these. You even see some rocks that were being cut on this saw too. Yeah, this is the newer ones. So nice. But what are you looking for, Zeke?
I am looking for wrenches to
For blades?
I know putting on some of the blades has been a challenge, so I was like, we should show that. Setting up the 10-inch saw. But put the phone on the tripod and come help me get this toolbox off.
We're about to do some heavy lifting. My favorite thing.
We had hoped to be more prepared today. Today was a bit of a crazy day. Running around getting stuff done, so you'll have to bear with us as we get a little bit of this set up. But John sent us toolboxes that are supposed to be full of tools. Good grief.
So
You can tell John and Sherman loaded this because they expected a gorilla to take it off of here.
oh my. There's only us. Do you want to tilt it towards me and I'll pull those from out under?
And the problem is getting that wheel stuck between the pallets.
Fair enough. Or do you want me to? I'll lift just so you catch if need be.
You're gonna lift it up that way?
Yeah, pull those from underneath it. I'm just tell me when your fingers are gone so you don't lose them.
I think it's under both.
Okay. All right, ready?
It'll be fine. Take it this way. That's what I was trying to do to begin with.
Oh, just a little heavy lifting.
Oh, you're okay.
It's more like a vlog, if anything.
Now let's see if. Oh, good grief. This is the lovely level of organization from John.
John functions under something called organized chaos. Do you want to just move this on top of there?
I was looking for the key.
Where he knows where everything is, but no one else does.
Yes.
Oh.
I know John and I actually function a lot alike just looking at these drawers. Yeah, we can make those two work.
You want to put this on here? One more here? Or do it later?
Yeah, I think it's gotta be I think we gotta unscrew it. Well, let's see. It's pretty heavy.
Is it?
Yes.
No, we got it. It's fine.
You think you can lift it?
Yeah.
All right, let's put it up there. Hey, that's a lock the toolbox lesson right there.
Oh. We need these. Do we have the key?
Yes, right here.
Oh. You know, can we use the excuse we're tired? Can you even lock
only so many times. Maybe. Sherman was like, oh, John's got some nice toolboxes. We'll lift this up with the forks.
Yeah.
Or the cart. What do we do with those wrenches? All right.
Wake up, Zeke. Yeah, do it.
Good grief.
Oh, wait, Zeke, it's your favorite.
Hey, it's not that heavy.
This is me and Zeke's every day, by the way. It's a lot of learning, a lot of physical labor. If you ever want to work at Highland Park, you got to minimum be able to pick up, what, 200 pounds?
That's what it feels like. All right.
That is.
We'll look at the 10-inch saw because I know people have had questions about setting these up.
Sorry, Zeke and Tay, are you able to hear us if we read out the questions to you guys?
We can hear you.
Especially if we walk
All right.
over.
So Patrick is asking what makes a precision saw versus a slab saw? And in relation to that, Marvin was asking, you call the precision saws, is the word precision supposed to indicate something?
Yes, precision does indicate something. So the difference between the tabletop slab saws and the precision slab saws are the carriage assemblies. One, the precision are on roller blocks with
Why
pillow.
don't you just show them the two different?
True. I'll show you the differences between these. So this is a precision slab saw. And the difference between the tabletop is, as you can see, the carriage assembly.
You're
Let me
supposed to
just-
use the button to remove that, not force the motor.
You know. All right. So the first difference for these is these are sitting on pillow block bearings. As you can see, these are square rails where I'll engage the device, but they roll on these pillow block bearings on these square rails. And because of this design, and you have bearings on the bottom and on the top, you get a perfect cut every time. It moves on the
Not to say that the round rail saws are bad,
no.
but
They're
these are more overbuilt.
What is it? Over-engineered for perfection, as John would say. Comparatively, we'll walk over here. This is our Highland Park tabletop HT model. If you look at these don't have pillow block bearings. They just slide on the round rails.
And the round rails will wear out faster than the square rails.
Yep. These round rails will.
One of the cool advantages though from the new saws versus the old ones is the old ones were just, it was basically square metal, like the tubing.
Mhm.
The new saws have stainless steel rails in them, which is one of the coolest upgrades, I think. Much smoother.
What are you working on, buddy?
I'm gonna show people how to install the blade because I get this call a lot.
All right. When you're setting that up, I'll answer more questions about saws. Ow. All right, Darwin, what is the next question?
So the next question is, how big of a rock can the 16-inch saw cut?
Well, you pull up on the website, it says the exact dimensions, but I think it's about a 5.5 by 6 inches.
No matter how clean you get these saws, there is mineral oil everywhere. It haunts you. But hey, if you buy our mineral oil, it's cosmetic grade. It's good for the skin. Rough them up with rock.
Does
make them
Charlie
smooth.
Brown say good grief?
What?
Does Charlie Brown say good grief?
I've never watched Charlie Brown. That's a fun fact.
I haven't either. Edward says yes. Huh, well, that would make sense. I do say good grief a lot.
What's the next question?
Okay, 6 1/8 by 6 1/4. Oh, here, let's show putting on a blade because we get asked this a lot.
I'm gonna do my little interview thing. What size is this saw?
This is the 10-inch stainless steel trim saw. And you'll notice I'm sitting here wiping down the arbor flanges because if you get debris that sits on this, it can make your blade wobble. So the first thing when someone has, especially if it's a brand new saw and they're like, the blade's wobbling, I have them check to see if there's any dirt or debris. So I always clean off the flanges before I install them. And I do one side at a time, put everything together, and I'll wipe down the blade as well. So I'll put the inner flange on, and then 10-inch blade that I've been let sit in too much water.
What blade is that?
This is a thin line blade.
Where can you get it?
Whole Highland Park, of course.
Yeah.
Although you guys are gonna be excited. We're working on some new blades. John had me test. And I'm really excited to do those because I really like them. All right, get that cleaned up. Now, the most important piece that I've already sat down somewhere,
Mhm.
the bushing. If a lot of people I have discovered put the bushing on and then put the blade on, not together. So what happens is when you tighten this down, the blade makes this kind of rotation instead of a circular rotation. And I've had at least a couple of these 10-inch saws now where there's been a notch on the front and the back because the blade was spitting out of round. So when you put this on, make sure it seats on that bushing right there. You also will have a hard time tightening it down properly if it's not on there, and people will be like, oh, I can't tighten my blade. All right, so I got the blade wiped down, got the inner flange wiped down, the bushing in there. Now I'm going to clean the other side before I put this on, and I like it pretty clean. If you got an old saw and it's chewed up, I'll take this and on a flat lap or a piece of sandpaper on something nice and flat, I'll take it and I'll rub it back and forth to get the little burrs off. Because sometimes if you muck up your flange, you can get burrs in here that also make your blade wobble. So I'll clean these up, or they're really not that expensive. Just buy a new set if they're pretty mucked up. And we'll stick that on there. Then on your arbor nut, there's one side with this raised lip. That's the side that goes on the inside. It's kind of like a built-in washer on there. And then of course this is going to be, no, that's not backwards threaded. And then you do got your flat spot. And that actually, you should use wrenches for this, but these are what I had. So I'm just gonna make sure not to let them slip and muck them up. You don't need to go crazy tightening that down. Just
I
snug.
don't want to go crazy and lock up that because they're a pain to unloose.
Well, and you can actually warp your blade by over tightening this. I've had blades and the flanges too where they've been over tightened, and you can take them out and set them on something perfectly flat and make them wobble, or you can check them with a micrometer too. But I usually just find something like a sheet of glass and test it on. All right, and then so this is kind of the process of what you would do if you were setting up this saw. New. This one's obviously been used.
What gives that away?
Just a little bit of dirt in here.
Just a tad.
This one's due for a cleaning. It's funny. There's two different people in the rock world. The people would be like, "Why does that need a cleaning? It's still running." And the people that are going, "Good grief, is Eclipse get that bad?"
I'm of the good grief variety. Look at this, man.
Yeah, you get all this crud in there. You just need to clean it out. The other thing I like to do if there's a lot of crud in there, take a spray bottle and just spray it out and spray out the screw holes so that I don't have cross-threading issues. All right, set that on there. Now on these vices, they can go on either side. So you can mount it on this side over here, or you can flip it over and mount it on this side over here. It doesn't matter.
If you're righty or lefty,
I prefer it on this side.
because you're righty.
Well, I like to be able, I guess I like to be able to hold the rock with my right hand and slide the vice with my left. So I am a righty, but it's like I don't know if that's necessarily the reason I prefer that side. That's just the one I do.
Typically, you do stuff with your dominant hand.
You're doing it with both hands, so. On the screws, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. When I start a screw, especially one that has been in a dirty environment like this, I will start it by loosening it until that I hear that click. Well, let's see. There we go. That click right there. And then I can tighten this down. That just ensures that I do not cross thread this.
You know what I'm proud of?
What's that?
Not one shaky hand comment. The gimbal works.
I was about to say it's not because of you, it's because of the gimbal.
You know, I take the wins as I get them. I'm not picky. As my life is just going to be paperwork for the next 2 days anyways. All right.
The other thing that if you're gonna set this saw up for yourself that I would recommend is to put a ball valve on it. On this. Now these ones we'll take out and redo because I just used the heavy duty Teflon tape. If you're gonna set this up for long-term use and you're not like us where they swap them out kind of regularly, I would put ultra black on there, liquid gasket, the ultra black. But it does require you to let the sauce sit and not use it, which is why these have Teflon tape on them, because I did not have the patience when I first set these up to not start playing with it immediately. So I put Teflon tape on there, but I'd recommend you putting the liquid gasket, and I'll redo all of these so that they have that. But right now it's just there, and that makes it so you can just drain the saw. A lot of people ask, how do you know how much water to put in it? When I'm filling it up with water, I turn on the blade and just pour water into the saw until it starts spitting water back at me. And that's how I know it's full. So I know actually measure the water out. Measure. So, and then let's see what I do with the hood. I'll show you guys the hood on this because I know we get asked about that a lot too.
Zeke, is there a need to put the screws back to hold the 10-inch SS trim saw table? Seems not necessary.
I'm sorry, I did not understand the question. Is there a what now?
Is there a need to put the screws back to hold down the 10-inch trim saw table? It seems that it's not necessary.
It'll slide back and forth a little bit if you don't put it in there. I would put them in.
It also will vibrate a little bit as well, depending on what you're cutting.
Yeah, I would put them in so it's nice and sturdy.
Unless you want to hear
You can use oil or water. I have it set up with water because that was easiest at the time.
We recommend though, as Zeke has ignored our recommendation here, we recommend if you do run it with water, you do dry it out. Otherwise, lift this up, you can get some rust form on your blade. Although it won't affect the cut or anything, you don't want your saw to get rusty. So
It'll
we
affect the cut
recommend
a little bit,
just a little bit.
but
Depends on how much. We'll say that.
but I'm gonna.
Surface rust, you're fine. If it pits and eats in, it will affect your cut. Sorry.
It'll also shorten the life of your blade.
Yeah.
So this does have a hole on both sides, so you can use the vise and operate it both at the same time with this on here. I have gotten asked that a few times. So pretty easy. Basic setup. That's all you need to do. When you get this, it'll come, and now the hood and the vise are add-ons, but when you get this, the blade will just be sitting flat in here, and you will have to put on the guard, but it's just this one screw in the back. John thinks that's a little too tight. He doesn't like it that stiff. So when he sets it up, he lets it so it can move up and down a little bit more freely, but I like to be able to just lift it up and have it stay there. So it's personal preference. Although when John gets here, he'd be like, dude, you over tightened it.
Mayhaps.
Yes.
What's
Awesome.
we want to focus on? Or let's answer some questions.
So Jimmy wants to know, I thought you used oil for this saw. Do you usually also use the vise?
I'm a little spoiled. I have a lot of saws to play with, so I really don't use the vise that much. But if I did not have like 20 saws to use, I'd probably use the vise more. But if you got like a 12-inch slab saw, you really don't need to use the vise. So I would only get for me, the only reason I would get the vise is if I was, buying a cab machine and a trim saw and I couldn't put a slab saw in my shop, that's when I personally would buy the vise. If I didn't have a slab saw, if I have all the toys that I have, I wouldn't buy the vise for it personally.
What else?
And then for the core drill, how high of a ceiling do you need for this beast?
About a 10-foot ceiling for the big core drill.
And then are the machines on wheels? I see casters.
Yep, some of them.
Edward, there is not a set torque because John and I do it by feel. That feels right. But one of the things that John is going to eventually do is have torque specs for all those kinds of things. Because if you're just doing it, you can feel it when it feels right. But that's something that's very hard to teach. So we will eventually get a torque spec, but About right there is how it should feel.
What was the question about the casters? Some of our machines do have casters, like the core drill has casters.
Well,
the precision
correction, the
ones-
big core drill
big-
has casters.
sorry.
The CD4 does not have casters.
The big core drill has casters. The precision saws have casters. Some people put them on, some people don't. Really depends on people's personal shops, where they're located.
If height is a concern.
Shaping machine has casters.
Does the shaping machine come with casters? I don't think it does.
Does the shaping machine not come with casters?
I don't think
I thought
so.
it did.
I don't think so.
It doesn't. You can put casters on the shaping machine. Huh.
And then
We could give you kind of an idea. Unfortunately, we actually already cleaned out all the saws, but let's look at the 16. We can talk about cleaning it out because we just actually cleaned these saws.
Can the 16-inch slab saw from the 60s, the vintage ones, take casters?
That depends. Not some of them had casters on them. I don't think any of them were tapped for and drilled for casters, but I've seen them with and without. But it also depends on how people have modified them. I've seen a lot of them where the legs have been modified.
Very true.
Are you cold?
Yeah.
Good grief, it's hot in here.
Why am
Oh.
I having a hard time about keeping my health up?
Your health.
I've been here for 60 hours and 4 days.
Grab the camera.
Let me live.
and
Do you
then
hear all this judgment from Zeke?
There's not judgment.
There's so much judgment. I put on a jacket.
All right, so if you're cleaning out the saws, this blade is just sitting here. So I always take the blade out. I take the covers off, the back spray guard, and it's nice if you put a ball valve on your saw because it makes it easy to drain. And I always put the nut and flanges back on it while I'm working on it, because if you damage the threads while the nut's still on there, it'll actually help fix the threads when you take it back off. So I always put that back on there. And then we just drain it into a bucket. We use a plastic putty knife, scrape out all the sludge in there. And then I take paper towels and just wipe it down in here. And the first couple of paper towels, you'll just be basically scooping up mud with them. And as you get a little bit cleaner, you can wipe it down. But this saw was absolutely filthy. I mean, you can still see on the vise here how much just muck was built up in this saw. So this was a pretty dirty saw, but that's all we did to clean it. On a saw like this, it takes, if you don't have an ever clean, it takes about an hour to clean it out. And then we take it and wipe everything in here. If we're cleaning them to like sell them, we'll take and spray 409 on a paper towel and wipe all the oil out so it's really clean.
If you do spray any solvent, spray it on a paper towel. Don't just free spray it. You do not want it. You do not want any solvents laying on any of your moving parts, either your bearings, your feed screw, in your arbor assembly, because that will strip the oil that are on those parts and lock it up.
Now, the other thing I would do on your saw, I'm sure some of you are experiencing this now. When you get these vices, especially when they're new, they can be a little difficult to move over. As they wear in, they get nice and smooth. But what you want to do is put white lithium grease on these rails going back and forth here. And then I don't know that Highland Park has ever suggested it or recommended it, but I actually take anti-seize, especially on my older saws that were rusty. Anti-seize, and paint that on the threads of the crossfeed so that it's really smooth as it goes back and forth. But the white lithium grease will help keep this up. And if your vise is locking up where it won't move back and forth, clean the grease off, spray it down with some like WD-40 or something, or just some clean mineral oil, work it back and forth and re-grease it. Almost every saw I've ever had that it struggled to move back and forth, it just needed to be greased. And then on maintenance for the saw while you're using it, wipe down these rails periodically, because you'll get little rock chips on there, and sometimes it feels gritty when you pull your vise back. I like this to feel really smooth, so if I hear any little grit on there, I'll wipe those down where the bearings ride. But yeah, pretty simple. Not a lot you gotta do with this. Periodically, when I say periodically, I do it like once a year, maybe if you're cutting a lot.
you-
Take the arbor cover off and grease those bearings.
Mhm.
But again, I'm not doing that a lot. The other thing that causes noise for people that I hear complaints about, I'll show you guys quick while we're looking at this saw, is on this pulley right here. When this dries out or gets a little dirt on there, that pulley can make quite a bit of ruckus. So we put Highland Park puts white lithium grease on there. I was just using silicone spray because it's a dry lubricant, and I was spraying that on there. But white lithium grease probably works better.
Yeah.
So
Although it does stain close, so be careful.
that's nice on there. All right. Any questions while we're looking at this saw?
So Jack wants to know for the 10-inch trim saw. So you don't wait until you have rainbow calsilica formed in the tank.
Say that again?
So you don't wait until you have rainbow calsilica formed in the tank.
Rainbow.
Calsilica.
Oh, here it is. So you don't until you have rainbow calcic formed in the tank? No.
I wait till the blade's sitting in mud. No, just kidding.
You wait until the braid is disintegrated in water.
No, it'll be fine.
It will be.
Oh, it's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Jim wants to know, what do you like about the new blades?
What I like about the new blades, just how smooth they are and how well they cut. But it's just how wonderful they are. I mean, honestly, most people probably won't notice a massive difference, except for on the trim saws. But when you're testing and looking at the detail, they just cut so smoothly.
Mm.
Okay,
I'm
and
really
then
excited about it.
You know the next one we're gonna do? We're gonna do that 14.
That's a 12, and we don't have the motor for it.
That's
okay, and then last question, any polishing machine to set up tonight?
Yeah, we'll have to grab some of the machines. Do you want to go grab some of those other machines, or do you want me to go grab those other machines?
here's a question. Let's ask the folks. Which one of us do you want to talk to for the next 15 minutes?
Oh, that's a rude question.
Tay?
Yeah, gosh, why did you even need to ask?
Well, you're the more
How rude.
all right. So as this guy, I really didn't want a forklift right now.
You could have just said that.
Nah, it's okay. I'm here. See, they don't see me every day. They see you every day.
On the cutting with water, I would not add any of those terrible additives. If you're going to put anything in your water, the only thing I would add in there is a drop or two of dish soap. It'll change the lubricity of the water and make it feel a little more free cutting, but that's the only thing I would do. I would not use any of those additives. A lot of them are not even good for your saw anyway. A lot of them hurt the bearings, so.
A polishing setup. Do you want to also grab the CB8?
Yes.
All right. So grab the 14, a CB8. What else is up there? Well,
Oh, no,
everything's
those are
up there.
machines. I'll be back
We
in a
even
few
have the old
minutes.
machines up there, but not the working ones.
You entertain them for a few minutes. I'll go grab.
Aw. All right. So I'm going to entertain y'all. And feel free to keep asking questions even when Zeke is not here. But what shall we do? Right now, what the saws that I do have down here that we can take a look at is, if you want to take a look at the 36, we have that. That little big one over there that the camera is pointing at right now. Oh, when you're up there, Zeke, could you grab could you grab the giveaways that we have up there?
Oh.
What do you mean, good grief? You just need to be kind. So,
And then
Sorry,
Kay,
I have it.
do you know when the 90-degree 8-inch Intarsia fixture is going to be available on the website?
Do I know when the 90-degree Intarsia fixture is going to be available on the website? I do not have that information right now. Sherman gets back on Monday, and John just landed in Texas, so I can talk to them later and see if I can get a time frame on that. Well, we can show the shaping machine. Let's actually walk over to the shaping machine right now. Alrighty. I don't have my little cameraman. He took the forklift. So here he is. This is our shaping machine. Looks kind of lonely over here. But this one is set up mostly, except for some fixtures. But this is the Highland Park shaping machine. Great for cabs, wheels, preforming, all of that jazz. What the heck, Zeke? So I'm throwing Zeke under the bus. Unbeknownst to me, Zeke has taken off the pins that keep the lid on the machine. So to attach the lid, you have these cute little screws, which are not on the machine at this time. Well, ain't that lovely? Always surprises at Highland Park. I don't want to damage that lid, but here's the shaping machine. And as you can tell, this one has been lovingly used. Oh, my goodness. This is a dirty machine. They cleaned all the other machines, but they didn't clean this one. So the basic use of the lovely, lovely shaping machine is you have your head that you can rise and lift with this handle. You will lower it in order to push your piece into whatever wheel you're using. Yes, Zeke is the culprit behind all of the dirty machines. You rise it. My goodness, this one's messy. But he did make quite a few cute little things. That is a lapis lace sphere. This is, I think that's a Koyamito right there. We have a cool skin daggett. I want to say that's a Almejo, but I am unsure. And is that a Swaz? That's not a Swazi. I don't know what that is. But I feel like throwing him under the bus here. We will set this up next. I just need to talk to Zeke on where those screws are, because that took me off guard. Yep, and there's still oil in it. When you fill this up, the oil goes right in here. That's where the pump is. Huh. We will get to that as soon as Zeke gets back down, because he is a messy, messy, messy boy. But yeah, that can be the next thing we set up. Do you want to switch the camera? Ooh. Charlie Brown said, I should call Zeke Chuck. I call Zeke a lot of things. Messy is probably the #1 right now. I call him John's mini-me, because they do the same thing where they'll take a tool and they'll set it down. Then they'll walk away. And they're the only ones who know where it is. And if you move it and put it back, they get mad at you. And they're like, it's gone missing. Team, can you link the link to the shaping machines? Kurt is wondering how much they are.
Sure, we'll do that.
And there you are, Kurt. That is for the 110-volt shaping machine. Free shipping in the contiguous United States. Oh, so can I answer any questions at this time? On our pillow block bearings. So typically we use the white lithium grease to grease them, but the bearings we do come pre-greased. At least most of them. But usually the white lithium grease works. Ooh. Something waterproof is very helpful, especially if you use water in your saw. But I'm excited to, Zeke left his keys here. I'm very excited to finish setting up this warehouse. We're going to try to have everything up and going in the next couple days, at least before John gets here, which John gets here between a couple days to 2 weeks. We do not know. And where to get diamond dust in, like, diamond dust. I'm pretty sure did Johnson Brothers have some? I never purchased any separately. If I am doing any sort of polishing, grinding, anything like that, I just use cerium. Kingsley North, there you go. So, anyone cut any good rock in the past day since you last saw us? I don't know if Zeke talked about it, but me and Zeke were here until 5 a.m. this morning. Finishing up prepping the floor down here after the live sale. They didn't let it, well, they being Sherman wanted us to get it done by today so we could set up these machines with y'all. We virtually live here. Huh. Me and Zeke joke about it all the time, but we see each other more than we see our own families. And I work with mine. I got a good like 5 hours of sleep today. It's been pretty tight because we've had a lot of projects, but me and Zeke work pretty irregular hours. But ooh, Linda cut some labradorite and stabilized turquoise. Ooh, that's cool. Petrorite wood from Arizona. Ooh, was it like the rainbow wood? I know John has some upstairs. We'll show you when we get up there a little bit more organized, but he used to keep them in his front yard. I know a couple of you have been to his house, but he has these massive, massive, massive like trunks of petrified wood that he used to set all around his yard as like decorations, and now they're all here. Sugilite. Jeez, Kurt. You cut in some pricey stuff. I've only cut Sugilite twice. And that was just to dice it up for John. Greens, purples, ooh. I love the purples in petrified wood and greens. Call me spoiled. I see a lot of the reds. So when I have that color variation, it tends to get my eye a little bit more than the reds. Made a cab out of, ooh. Mary, please send us a picture of, also, not just Mary, but the rest of you, please send us pictures of all of your finished works. We love to see it. And as we were talking about earlier, I'll mention it again. Yesterday, we were coming up with a really nice plan to do a little like competition between cut rocks and stuff, and have a good showcase and like a competition of who has the best cut rock of this type or this size or this type of rock. Did Zeke go for a polishing machine? He went for I think a 14-inch, the CB8, which the polishing machine. And I want to say he's trying to get the HSSM and the LSSM that are up there. But he has to be a little bit careful because he has to load the elevator. So we got to be a little careful. Thank you, Carl. Making spheres to find from new find, Oregon called Flame Jet. Ooh, Scott, I'd love to see a picture of that. I've never heard of it. You can email team. Would you like to link the email that they can send their photos to send to our team, who puts together fantastic slideshows and stuff? They're amazing at their jobs. They're the ones who designed the cool wheel, which we can spin the wheel soon. Although I have a bin right here, I have the first giveaway of the night. Sitting nice and pretty right here. So we can do the spin. Hello, PETA. Kim. Is Kim in the room with us right now?
Yep. He's in the room.
Oh. Well, right now, because Zeke is upstairs, I do have a really good bargain bin, but because Zeke is upstairs, I have one of the giveaways down here, which I think y'all like. I don't actually have a camera set up that I can show you easily. Let me get that camera. But you have won. Here we go. Do you want to move the other camera? You have won. This is lot 3186. But you have won quite a few really nice pieces of needle agate. You see the needles through the skin right there. Gorgeous stuff. And even more. A nice variety of sizes to choose from as well. Yeah, congratulations. What's that right here? But we can switch to the other camera now, unless you guys do want to look at my little mess over there by the forklift. Me and Zeke have been playing Put Out the Fire. As of late, we had a lot of issues with our floor cleaner when we were in here. We had to clean it. It broke down. There was no suction in the vacuum. So we had to fix that. We had issues fixing a power washer because we absolutely obliterated the O-rings in it. Had to fix that. And now, one of our forklifts, we thought we had one more propane tank, but it was delivered to us and it's empty. So we ran out of propane, so one of our forklifts are down right now. So we only have one to use. It's been one of those weeks where it seems that little things go wrong when you're trying to get big projects done. And it always comes when you're busy. Always. Oh, but yep. Any other questions when I'm just standing here? And it could be about anything. Highland Park, it could be Zeke's dangerous secrets. Where Sherman is right now on his first vacation in a couple of years. He went to St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. And he's been sending me pictures all day of him on a beach. He's having the time of his life. And he's like bragging to me. Here's a nice picture of him and his girlfriend on a cruise. He's having a great time. He's getting nice and tan too. Interested in some... you want us to start over? Paul, yeah, we'll pack this right back up. We'll put it back in the bin and unbox it. Some intarsia machine setups. We're going to be shooting a video on how to set up the intarsia machine. Right now, me and Zeke don't have one. So we're unable to set one up for you at this time, but we are going to be shooting a video. Would that be something you want to do a cut and chat about? Especially when John's here, because John's going to be here in a couple weeks. That would be a fun cut and chat. Cut and chat with John Rowland. Thoughts on that one? Yeah. I will say, cutting agates with John, when I first started learning how to cut agates, I'll use this as an example. One of my fond memories is he'd pick up a nodule and just go, and we were talking about it last night on the live sale, is when you cut a lot of agates, you get a really good feel of what you like and what you don't like based on the color, the size, the skin. And it's like a sixth sense. You get some intuition when it comes to cutting rocks. And when I was first learning with John, when I was a wee little lad or lass, in my case, he'd pick up a rock and he'd go, "This is a good one." He wouldn't tell me why it was a good one. He wasn't really specific. He'd just be like, "This is a good one. I know it." He'd cut it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant agate. And I'd do the same thing. I'd pick one up, I'd cut it, dud. All matrix or the tiniest little bit of like a quartz center. So, and it was in his workshop in Texas. If any of you had been there back in the day. Liam Hollinsworth got me hooked on trying Intarsia. I personally would also like to try Intarsia. I will say I have not really done it before. I haven't really done it at all. I've seen a lot of videos and I've seen a lot of artwork done like with Intarsia machines, but I've kind of stuck to the more traditional agate specimens and polishing of that. But I really want to get into it. We could do like a learn with us type thing. We were talking about it. Zeke wanted to shoot a video of teaching me how to fish because I've never been fishing. Does Highland Park have any interest in developing a ring saw? I do know we were looking into, what saw was that? I forget the name of the saw. I'm just blanking on it. You know, in those big quarry mines, they have those like long, like, diamond like ropes and they push it and they pull it back and forth to cut those massive blocks. We were looking at like maybe trying to build a saw like that was drag saw or wire saw. They're pretty similar, I think. I actually don't know if they're the same thing. But this was the first time that I really looked into doing one of those big like saws with the giant wires to cutting these big blocks of like marble or like granite. And I know John and Sherman were looking at like the possibilities of designing a new one of those, which I think is pretty cool. Especially if anyone here does like big old countertops. Interested in wet belt sander adjustments to getting the best water coverage on the belt. A lot when trying to find the flow of water on a belt, it depends. One, it depends on the speed you're running the belt. So the wet belt sander has 2 speed settings. You can have faster or slower depending on where you put your belt on your pulley. And I typically find and it also really depends what I'm cutting as well. If I'm cutting something harder, I typically want more water coverage because I'm pushing the rock into the belt a bit more and it's causing a lot more friction and heat. So there's a couple different aspects coming into play when water. And when David, when you're cutting, when you're using your saw, it also depends where you actually place your rock, how much water you want on there. Because if you're doing it lower down, which typically I do where you have the bottom drum, I do it a little bit lower right on the edge. I run a little bit more water because it kind of flies off. It also depends on what grip belt you have. Any other questions? Zeke is taking his lovely, lovely time upstairs. Maybe took a nap up there too. I know there's a couch up there. Looking at the hood adjust. Are you talking about the lever up top where the water feed is, like that tube? Or just the cover, like inside? Thank you, Mary. Do you have manuals for machines that we buy? I do know we were working on putting out a manual. Do you know, team, do you know if that has gone out? Because I can probably ask Sherman about it later tonight when I call him. I know he was doing them for the slab saws. That's the last time I took a peek at it, is he was working on them for the slab saws. Oh, let's take this. We're gonna take a little adventure. What I wanted to look at recently is this big old 36, which we have to turn around. Oh my. Ain't she a beauty? Team, would you like to change the camera? Okay. Okay. This is our nice and clean, soon to be quite messy, 36 slab saw. And what's upstairs right now that we're also going to set up and get to demo is our 36 drop saw. Just look how big that blade is. It's as big as me. But how many of you would love to use one of these? And, you know, it's funny, this isn't even our biggest saw. That's our 45. We have one that is as big as a car. I know. Kind of crazy. Holy. My big thing with this, we were talking about showing how to put rocks in this saw, because a big thing with these big saws is you're cutting big rock. And how do you get your rock from the ground into the saw? And there's a couple different things we do. Like, we're going to be just using our forklifts to unload the rocks, but there's a lot of people who build their own pulley systems, which are ingenious to be able to put your rocks in this saw. I can't wait to see the slabs that Zeke and I are going to cut out of this, because I know we have these massive, massive, massive rocks that we've set aside, and I'm ready for it. Woo! And then this is our CD4, the smaller of the two. For those who came in a little after we were showing it off, this is our CD4, the smaller of the two core drills we have. This is the one Zeke had in his shop. And my production sphere makers, this is the best tool to have. Very, very little waste for your core. When you core and you get your preforms for your rock, you can use those cores and those little I won't say extras, but the excess from when you core for cabs, slabs, and a whole bunch of stuff. And then this is our big, big, big core drill, which we're going to set up later tonight, me and Zeke. And this is for the serious, serious, serious spheres. Holy moly. Can't wait to shoot video and do some cut and chats to show this off. Let me look at the questions now that I'm back at my desk. Let's see. I do know, back to the manuals, the ones that I looked at were for the slab saws. I am unsure about the other manuals, but I'm sure John can answer that question later this week when he's here. Well, later next week. But that's the very vague, in like, when John and Sherman travel, they don't usually give exact dates. They vaguely tell us when they're going to arrive. So we have a tentative arrival date for John. What? Oh, do you want to see Zeke? He just got here with the elevator, I think. Wow, look at it. Look who it is. Look who it is. What machines did you get us? What machines did you get us?
Hydraulic,
Mhm.
an HPL, and a PT and a CBA.
Oh, geez, we're gonna have a time. So Zeke just told me that he has gotten us the HSSM, the hydraulic sphere machine, the low speed sphere machine, the PT8, or either the PT8 or the PT10, the CB8, and what else? We're gonna go take a look. This is kind of an impromptu little night where you get to see, it's more of a day in the life of me and Zeke. I can also see he brought down some nice rock. I can see some polychrome jasper on top of that bin. Oh, he grabbed an HT12 too with a motor. So we can show how to set up the HT12. And there's the hydraulic sphere machine. Uh-huh. And let's see what else. Oh my goodness. There's the LSSM, the HSSM, the PT, and the PT8 he grabbed, not the 10. And then he also has the CB8 right there. This is gonna be fun. Probably had to find them upstairs though. So which one of these machines would you like to set up first? Machines until my mechanics on 36. This weekend, me and Zeke are going to be finishing up the Evercleans. Wow, you got a picture of my nose. So sorry. We are going to be finishing up some of the Evercleans, so hopefully we can ship some out next week. But we just had to finish this room first. I know Randy's been asking about the CB8 and like those wheels, and that would take a pretty short amount of time. So we can do the CB8 first and then do one of the sphere machines. And maybe do, because the setup for the HT12, super easy, super fast. Probably one of the easier setups besides the slab saws. The slab saws are arguably the easiest to set up, at least in my opinion. One sec. Never mind, he got it. I thought he was gonna hit a wall for a sec. Oh my goodness, look at him come. What is going on with this camera? Here we go. All right. I'm going to take you over here as I unwrap some of these saws so you can unwrap them with me. Do you want to highlight my other camera team? Holy moly, this is an old one. This is a old dual polisher. This thing is very old one. My goodness. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, G&G. My goodness. And as you can see, to keep everything in, we have Zeke's little collection of agates. All right. I said it before, but this is kind of like Christmas. If Christmas was packed in cling film. I'm gonna need my knife for this, actually. And Zeke will be back in probably, he's just getting the last two things and then he's all set to come back. I know, you guys miss him. I call him Highland Park's golden boy. There him go. Zeke, you ready? What else do you need to grab? Just the tables? He also went upstairs and grabbed the tables for setting up these machines. Because we didn't want to put them on the floor. There we go. Here's a question. How many of the people here have the old Highland Park combo units? I know Carl does. You're rebuilding one. Whew. What was it? I know they put out on I know there's like probably about 30 to 50 different versions of them. But I know a lot of people love the ones they have, especially when they're in good condition. A big issue I know that people have issues with is they need new arbor shafts for them, which a bunch of them have different size arbor shafts. Motor goes out, but those things are tanks. A lot of the ones that I've seen being used have had constant use for like 50 years, running like a little machine. I'm watching Zeke unload the HT12 right now. Are there any facetors here tonight who have done any faceting? Carl, you've done a little bit of everything at this point. When I have to, like, if I need to ask Carl what has he done, it's easier to ask him what hasn't he done. The list is shorter. Me and Zeke talk about it, but both of us want to try faceting so badly because we're more of the like dome cabs, dome specimens and stuff, but faceting is a whole other beast. You think you've tried it all? At least with crop cutting, you're getting so close. All right. I'm gonna walk over to Zeke right now and give him his headset. Ezekiel, here you are.
Thank you.
I need a break from talking. My throat's getting dry.
I've heard you talk a lot. You can talk longer.
Wow. That is so rude.
Especially if you get going on a subject you really like, you can go for hours. You're fine.
Subjects, economics or like swimming. He's giving me a hard
And?
time. And rock, but like, it's not even a rant at this point with you. You talk about rocks more than I do.
I don't know. That seems unlikely.
Arguably not. All right, we're gonna show you the setup process over here.
All right. We want to look at the CB8 first, or do we want to look at the HT12?
We're going to look at the CB8.
All
We
right.
had a couple people asking about the polisher setup.
The polisher, what polisher setup?
CB8. We're gonna do the CB8.
All right. Well, you gotta put the camera down so you can come help me lift it.
All right. I'm just setting up the camera so they can see us
heave and hoe this thing over there.
Struggle a little bit. All right.
With
Ready?
2 people, it's not too bad.
Two. Oh, I forgot. Wait.
Use your legs.
No, it's not that. It's the steel. It's sharp.
It's not sharp. You're just soft.
That is so rude. Ugh.
All right. So that table over there.
It's only
Ow.
what? How heavy? Oh,
I don't know. I carried one of these things up a flight of stairs from a basement once, though,
why?
because I wanted one. All right, ready?
1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's what? Only like 200, 300 pounds?
It's not 200 to 300 pounds. It's probably like 150 pounds.
What? I lifted you up and you feel lighter.
All right.
You're not as angular.
Angular. All right, bring the camera over here. Now we talked about things to do when you first get one, so kind of the setup of this. What did you do to the... There we go.
It's upside down. There we go.
Yeah, you had it all flipped around weird. Good grief.
I was just trying to entertain and kill the time when you were gone.
All right, so things to do to set it up. If you have an older one, you're going to want to drill the 4 holes to mount the light system on there. Sorry, getting that adjusted. These just mount on the backs there in the corners. You will also need a 3/4 NPT male fitting with a barb on it to slide the hose on. Put the hose right there. And then water is really easy to set up. It just quick disconnect right into that port there. So deciding how you're going to put the water on there and getting this set up is pretty easy. If you get one of the newer ones that comes with, do they come with lights or is it just pre-drilled for lights?
They do not come with lights.
I think it's just pre-drilled. Then you just bolt it on there. It's just 4 bolts under there, although I only got 2 in there right now.
You can purchase the light kit though.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap. They're like $35 for the light
They
kit.
do make a difference.
And, oh man, I love these lights. They're fantastic. And then let's see. We got me a Phillips head screwdriver.
If you say please.
Would you please grab me a Phillips head screwdriver?
That's something we're working on with Zeke. Saying please.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh,
I had one sitting over here. It's probably by the 10-inch saw, unless you put it away.
here you go.
Sometimes I have to go back and backtrack because I'll have set tools out while I'm using them, and I'll come back and Tay's put all of them away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't find a thing.
That.
So let me just take off the cover here and I'll show you a fun little thing that I have discovered a lot of people don't realize.
I will read the questions out to you as well as you do that. First question I have is, well, Glenn said I did some tap dancing. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. You'll never know.
Maybe what?
Maybe I did tap dancing when you were gone. You'll never know.
You know this is recorded, right?
I did forget about that. My bad. Team, cut that out.
Yes, cut it out and send it to me.
And talk to Jim. Remember how we were talking about how me and you want to learn how to facet?
Yes.
You know who we have to get down here to cut with us?
Who's that?
Jim Bizak.
Oh yeah, he made Hannah's jewelry set.
You
He's
told me his,
a
your
really good
Hannah's
cutter.
favorite.
Yes. All right.
We have to get him down here.
That would be a lot of fun.
What is how do you know what to use for water? It doesn't come with a pump.
We sell a pump, the freestanding pump. If you don't get that, you can get a cheap pump from Harbor Freight. That'll work. You can hook it directly up like you'd use a refrigerator line. You can hook it up like that. Or you could do gravity fed where you put a fitting on a bucket and hang the bucket up or put the bucket higher than the machine. So on the arbor here, it has flat spots to put a wrench on there to be able to tighten and loosen your wheels if you take this front plate off, which is very convenient. The other thing you can do, and this is don't pay attention for a second. If the machine's totally unplugged and turned off, you can reach in here and grab the belt and you can squeeze that and use that as a handle to do it, which is how I do it most of the time. But I'd only do that if the machine's unplugged and turned off. so that there's no chance of hurting your hand on there. And then you do have the grease zerks. These come pre-greased. You don't need to go nuts greasing these. Just a little bit every like 25 hours of use. So just a little, like one pump in each of those. If your machine is squealing and squeaking, the likely cause is going to be that the belt is a little loose. And how you adjust this is you loosen these two bolts, one on each side there, and you take a pry bar, and I would wrap a rag around it so you don't scratch up your machine. And you lift this up because you want good tension on this belt, and then tighten that back down. And that's how you fix that problem. One of the other issues, I know if you got an older machine, John's redesigned these, so the new ones are different. But if you got an older one that has the surgical tubing, if water's leaking out and you're having a hard time tightening these down, it's either too long or too short. I think it's 9.63 millimeters is what I found to be perfect. So between the 9 and 10 millimeter range, if you cut these surgical tubing, I haven't had a problem with them if you cut it down to that length.
All right, here's a question. Why not just use one light in the center?
Because this is better and you can reach all the way around to the end here and it gives you more light. If you look, this light would struggle to get all the way to your ends if you had it just mounted in the center. And so it's nice to have one on each side. I guess if you bought a machine, there's also with the motor there, it would have a hard time reaching around, I think. But if you did only want to put one light on there, you could buy the kit and put the other light on a different machine because the kit comes with 2 of these. But I like having both on there. These are nice and bright, but if you had it in the middle, I also don't think you'd be able to put it on the ends very well like that either. And if you got an end plate on here, it's nice to be able to see that. The other thing that I use these lights for, which I like having them on the edge, is I'll actually use them on machines set up next to me. So if I have like the sphere machine set up next to me here, I can swivel the light over and use it on another machine. And same for the other side. Let's say you got the shaping machine on this side and your trim saw on this side. Now these 2 lights will work for three machines instead of just one. So that's another thing that I do with having dual lights on there a lot. On the spacing of the wheels, it comes with a bunch of extra spacers. I just adjust them so they line up with the felt here. But if you want special spacing, you can actually undo these and move the felt over. I think there's 3 different holes that you can put the felt in. And so that is adjustable. I am going to reset this one up. So the centered wheel is right here. I'm going to put the 280 grit. I'll actually probably swap it out and put it like a 400 grit on there. But I'll put that in the middle, and then I'm going to put an expandable drum on the end here.
Here's another question. Actually, they scrolled up. I cannot see it. Team, what was the question from Tad about how often you grease something?
The bearings?
No.
That was how many circs does a C8 have and how often
The
do you grease
circs.
them?
The
That's-
Zerks, yeah, that's just the bearings.
All right.
I grease them about 25 hours of use.
And how many are they?
There's just the 2 on this machine.
Okay.
And just 1 pump of grease is enough.
Is it variable speed?
This machine is not. And I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you yet, but I'll tell you anyway because we're having a good old time. John is building a retrofit kit that will replace this same motor assembly right here. That is a brushless DC variable motor. So when you buy that kit, what you're going to do is you're going to pull your wheels off, undo all the set screws, pull the shaft out, take your belt off, bolt the new motor assembly on, and it's going to be 1 contained box. So it'll already all be set up. You just got to put the belt on the side there, mount it on, put the belt on, put your shaft through. You got to take the pulley off too. And then you're good to go with a variable speed. It'll be a while before John actually builds them with variable speed, but he is making a retro kit for everybody that already has one, which I am so excited about. I'm like bouncing up and down with excitement on that. Yes, the kit does come with the little metal brackets that the lights mount on. Team, will you check? But I believe we have a couple CB8s in stock.
I think we got 5 in this past shipment.
I don't know if they're already allocated though.
Yeah, I just know we only got 5, mainly because I had to move them.
So
And then-
team, will you find out if these are in stock?
Okay. And then David wants to know, is there any update on the Everclean pump ship date?
I told them me and you are looking at the Everclean, some of them of the Evercleans on Sunday.
We don't have pumps for them though.
Oh, we're looking at the units, not the pumps.
Yeah, we don't have pumps for those.
I thought we were looking at the pumps.
No.
That was I got confused. This is on me.
No, we don't have. The problem is we don't have pumps for them. John showed me a video of the new pump. They are still it's almost completed on testing. So those will probably be shipping out closer to the end of the month. But they're also nice. He also went with a new motor on those. So instead of being that old style motor that gets really hot, these are going to be brushless DC motors. So we are working on those.
And then Scott wants to know what kind of grease is recommended.
I would use, I'm trying to remember there's one brand that I really like, but
Oh, you know the brands of grease.
I'm
This
trying
guy
to,
doesn't use any grease. He knows the brand.
I'm trying to remember the
He
brand I used, but you basically
Fancy,
just want a all-purpose marine grade grease so that it can withstand the water and the heavy, I mean, it doesn't, not like those bearings are taking a ton of abuse.
No.
We didn't talk about doing a deal tonight. Are you guys all interested in a deal?
I feel like they're always interested in a deal, but
Did we do a spin, by the way?
we did
Oh, what'd you give away?
some needle agate.
Oh, nice batch of it, looks like too.
Although Kim is a amazing person and decided to factor it back into the pool.
Oh,
So
that's
we'll do
nice.
spins tonight at the end of the night.
All right. Well, I'll do, so if you guys want a deal on equipment tonight, what I'll do for you is 5% off any of the equipment and 10% off any of the accessories if you buy a machine. So if you buy a CB8, you can buy the light kit, you can buy the pump, you can buy the wheels, all of that, and get the 10% off. But we'll do 5% off the machines. And so, I mean, if you're going to get like a spare machine, that gives you a fantastic savings on that.
Especially if you have to buy all the different iterations of
And
pumps.
I'll even do that on the oil.
Ooh.
So
Everyone always needs
extra
oil.
discount there.
Oh,
Oh man, Scott, what'd you do to your 24-inch saw? They might be out of stock.
Boulder? Oh my.
Yes. Oh man,
I will
I
say
gotta see that hood. I want to see what you did to it.
I will say one thing, if you ever Zeke made this mistake, and I don't even think it was Zeke who did this. I think he just was the poor soul who got yelled at because he was there. If you're ever in the Highland Park shop, never put a rock on top of a hood, even temporarily.
Oh, that bugs me too.
You will be
I'll set rags up and on top and stuff like that, but I would not put rocks on there. Scratches bug me. Let's see, where's the tape measure?
measured.
How long is that light? Let's see. They're pretty long. So from the stem or the base of the light there to the base right there is 27.5 inches. The overall length from the top of the light to the bottom of the base is 35.5 inches. So you got some really good reach on that. Gregory Moore wants a CB8. The light kit is $35 to get the
Oh,
lights.
that's cheap.
I know. I was like per light, and John was like, "No, that's for the kit." So you get 2 lights for $35.
Got a desk light from like IKEA, and it was like $30.
I know you could just mount these up, and they're nice lights anyway.
So what?
I know it is a
10% off. I don't even know. I don't think we have 20.
well. If you buy it's the deal is not really set up for just buying parts.
True.
I'll tell you what, if you guys don't buy a machine, you just want accessories, we'll do them for 5% off. If you just want to buy accessories and you don't buy a machine. But if you buy a machine, you get 5% off the machine and 10% off the accessories.
Save PN for the light kit.
A P and N,
I cannot read from this far.
P/N. Elaborate more, please, Edward. Oh, part number. That makes sense.
We always say skew. Oh, that's why we say skew here. You're skew.
Yeah, I'm
now.
glad other people grabbed that. Team, will you grab that off the website? I don't know it off the top of my head.
They would be good for show lights, honestly.
You could.
You'd have to probably get a clamp for the base though.
I would modify the base
Yeah.
to how they sat on there. What I'd probably do is bolt it to a little piece of wood, paint it, and then have a clamp on the spot on the back.
You know what I was thinking of? Me and you could do hammocks. Sleep here all day.
Oh, look at that. I
We'll
like
do
the
some
way you think.
hammocks.
Doing hammocks in the lab.
I'd see you too much, honestly.
Thanks, Nerms. And we can do another spin here in a second. I also wanted to do a deal on the polychrome jasper. Man, we've had some fantastic polychrome jasper.
You want to grab a piece from over there?
Yeah, grab one of those pieces over there and let's show it.
I have to get up.
And team, will you message me the price of the polychrome jasper so I can do a deal on it? I don't remember what it is a pound, but we have some fantastic polychrome. The like lots of good pattern in it. I'm amazed at how many of them have orbs. And wonderful pattern, like a lot of the Misty Mountain looking stuff. All right, so the polychrome is normally 15 a pound. Oh yeah, why don't you show that piece right there? You have to get it wet.
All right. I also have to get the camera over here. I'll get it wet and walk over to the camera.
All right, so on the polychrome, we'll do 10 pounds. That'd normally be $150. We'll do it for 127. There's a piece of polychrome I grabbed when I was upstairs. Really great pattern on these. Edward wants a light kit. These are fantastic material. I can't believe how many of them have the orbs in them. I think we're going to go through a good chunk of those light kits.
Polychrome takes on such a fantastic shine too.
Yes, it's one of the porcelain jaspers. Awesome. What other machines you guys want to see?
Everybody.
Oh, sorry.
Just stabbed me.
Excuse me.
I-
Actually, you walked into it.
I don't think anyone who's been stabbed says, well, you walked into my knife.
Isn't it a knife? It's a screwdriver.
People have died over less.
Awesome. What else do you guys want to see tonight? What other machines or questions you guys have?
Oh, the 12-inch. Let's set up the 12-inch real quick.
Oh, we can do that.
Take a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
I do have a nice little trick for putting on those motors too.
Do you want to remove this?
Yeah, we'll do it on this table right here.
Well, I was gonna cut the things. I wish I had scissors. Do you have scissors? 'Cause
No, what you do is you just cut them on there and then you don't cut the box.
I cut the box.
Although you don't need to cut that one.
I don't have the strength. I don't have the strength to cut it. My biggest weakness is my arms. Like my
And
wrists.
if you guys did not were not here last night, I did do a deal on that 118-inch saw we have. Team, will you remind us what I said on that saw? I think I said like 4,400 on it because it's got some, it's brand new saw. It just has some cosmetic damage to the paint and it's on the backside. So it's not even a big deal. You put it up.
Do anything. Ah, sorry, I stepped on that. See, look how well packed this is.
These are really well packed.
Beautifully packed. Like, can kick these and it won't do anything. Please don't kick your
But
saws,
don't rip
though.
the EPE. Good grief. We got to pack this thing back up when we're done.
What? How did I rip the EPE?
You were ripping it and tearing it. Good grief.
I didn't do
Good
anything.
grief.
I don't even do anything wrong and he gives me a hard time.
Good grief.
I remember, I don't know if anyone got for when we first came out with the HTs, to get them out of the boxes, you virtually had to turn the box upside down because the box wasn't in, it was in one piece. Only the lid came off.
I do remember those boxes. I never flipped them over. I just took and cut the entire sides of the boxes off.
Do you know what? So this is a fun Highland Park fact. During COVID, they had shut down the ports for Highland, like for importing from our factory. And when they did that, they had seized a container of ours.
Huh.
When they seized the container, they wouldn't tell us why they wouldn't release it. And when they eventually released it, they told us we had to put stickers on all of our machines. We had to open 40 of the old packaged HTs to put a tiny little sticker on the back of one, package them back up, tape it. Oh my goodness.
That just sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, ready? Okay. 1, 2.
Oh, wait. I get my hand underneath there.
Mhm.
This is definitely a 2-person job if you ever want to put it back in the box.
This is not too bad. I just hit my kneecap though, and that kind of hurt.
My watch thought it was an emergency because I pressed the button.
Yeah, it's an emergency because you're mean to me. Get that
Hey,
out of
kick in
way.
the box. Like, be gentle with the box. And she's just like, kick it across the room.
Listen, it's okay. So, this is lovely, 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 lovely. There we go. Let's open. Here is the
Oh, good, nice.
line agate eater blade with the blade bushing.
Then we open this up, take the EP out of the front, and your belt guard and parts and stuff are zip tied to the inside of the rail. You want to show them the inside here?
One sec. You grab it for a sec. All right.
So we'll take this out of here. Everything's packaged so well. That's the hardest part, getting it all unwrapped.
Very good. And we were talking about greasing your crossfeed with white lithium grease.
You can see on this new saw, it's already got the grease on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a brand new one that I just grabbed from upstairs.
The HTs are one of my favorite because they're so easy to set up.
They are really easy, and they got our belt right there.
It's part of the HTs is getting them out of the container and putting the motor on.
Well, you know, and if you don't care about the packaging, I'll use yours. I got Tay a knife. We have matching knives.
Knives. We match with Sherman too.
I got everybody on the Milwaukee train.
And you're like virtually a Roland at this point. Zeke has just infiltrated the Roland.
Infiltrated. didn't call it infiltrated.
I always say, you know, you're part of the Rolling Clan when you're here at 4 in the morning.
All right, no kidding.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We're gonna.
Oh.
There's how your lovely.
I was like, why are you trying to grab it?
My goodness.
It's like I'm unwrapping it. It's so exciting to unwrap a
Me and
machine.
Seeger still learning how to do this video thing.
I'm just here to set up machines.
Shush. Sherman called us talent. Because we're talented.
All right, got our motor here. And it's gonna mount on the side here, but I gotta take the screws out first. We put the hood down. I guess I can from this side.
I was getting you a screwdriver.
Come over here. Please.
Aw, he's learning. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Bark for us. Woof woof.
Good grief.
All I want. Does anyone have any good recommendations for some really, really good barbecue on the East Coast?
We get a
You
smoker.
you can't beat the South. Like I was in Texas. Delicious. And
All
I've
right.
always been craving birria or a really, really, really good barbecue. Or even, wait, can we do a crab boil?
Oh, that sounds really good. And it down all the way. So we just got one screw in there, and then this is the easiest way to get this belt on. I'm going to use this one screw to pivot the motor out. Let's see. Gotta get it all lined up. You want this belt to go nice and straight. I can lean into it a little bit, and now I can put this screw in here. But having this is a nice, so then we'll tighten that.
When we're done with this, I'm going to tell you about a dream I had the other night. It's about Highland Park. And it was me and you shooting a video, and it expletive. And then you drove a forklift into something. I don't really remember the rest. But my name is
Would
Zeke
this
with Highland
be
Park.
delusions after being here all night?
This is delusions after a 15-hour shift.
All right. You were fine. You were wearing a respirator.
That is true. We were having a grand old time. And right now he's just Benji's get caught up in there.
Flanges. All right. That's pretty easy to get that set up. And then let's put this blade on.
And this is the agate eater blade. The green line.
Green line.
Another difference between the precision slab saw and the HTs is the vise. This is a vertical vise where it's on a vise, but the retrofit vise.
Oh,
Words are
it comes with a horizontal vise.
You can also put a retrofit vise on the HTs. That is an important note because a lot of people prefer the
Tay,
retrofit vise opposed to the vertical wall.
Tay, can you hear me?
Too far away from your face because you keep letting it drift out there.
I got some
And
ears.
what I should have done before I put the belt guard on was put the blade on. This is one of those impatient things because now I can't grab the pulley to loosen the nut on there.
Can you describe?
Well, you can on one side of this. I think I do this every time where I have to take the belt guard back off.
We may be experts, but we are only human. Big thing I do to loosen it is hold the blade.
You can't do that if there's no blade on it.
Well, I'll be darned.
I still wipe it all down, make sure nothing got on this. This side's attached.
And there you can see that arbor symbol in there.
Of this saw is it does have the adjustments to be able to tighten down your bearings and adjust the bearings. The older ones, like the lower tones, do not have that. So that's really nice to be able to have those on the bearings. And I put the blade bushing in there and tighten this. Well, we're not cutting rock on this one tonight, so I especially can just hand tighten that. All right. The other thing, let me see if we got some Allen wrenches.
And then the last thing you're going to want to do is, if you look here, it comes this way. They cling film, the chain, or feet chain. What you looking for, son?
Allen wrenches. Show people how to adjust the vise.
I was about to bring down Allen wrenches because I thought we would need them.
Allen wrenches in here. I'll just have to do it to you and show you. But if
here-
you look, there is a one that does is it changes the tension of the vise. So what you want to do is put your hand underneath here and feel the bearing. Should go from an angle so you can see the bearing down there. This bearing, you can see how this bearing's totally loose. There's nothing stopping that bearing from turning. This needs to be tightened up a little bit. And what you do is you tighten it and you keep moving that bearing, and you want to tighten it until it'll roll a lot smoother. If these are really loose, it can actually cause the saw to
Zeke,
have a bad
you're
cut.
picking up.
So like this one needs to be tight.
What's going on?
We can't hear you. You're breaking up.
We are both breaking
Yeah,
up
the
because
sound.
we were far away.
Not sure.
All right, let's.
I don't know. Both the batteries are good.
That is
We just
true.
checked them.
Maybe your internet.
Maybe is it picking up better when we're closer?
Yeah.
Even the video is a bit
Video.
sluggish on my side.
It might be the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It's probably
Yeah, I the Wi-Fi.
the Wi-Fi. Well, we're just waiting here. I guess we'll just like hang out and read some comments. We'll do the second spin also.
We can't
Yeah,
hear.
I love this or voice. Can you hear anything I'm saying?
It's too laggish.
It's lagging.
Yeah.
Yeah, the batteries are good.
Yeah,
It's
we
the
can
Wi-Fi.
see your mouth moving, Zeke, but the voice is delayed. The sound is delayed.
It's the Wi-Fi.
Well, that's problematic.
It's the Wi-Fi.
It is the Wi-Fi. Yeah, there's like no Wi-Fi now.
It. Oh, we get one. Yeah, we had been having a lot of Wi-Fi trouble in our town.
Yes, we have.
Depends. Oh,
Porn film,
hold this.
please. What did you do to this?
Held it.
Need Japanese subtitles.
I think it's okay now.
Is it?
We'll just mime every video.
One of us needs to pick up. I did start learning American Sign Language because I think it's a very important skill to have.
Well, that'd only be helpful if everybody else knew sign language.
Oh, God, my back. Oh.
All right. What I was saying was on these vices, when you set these up, you want to tighten or you want to adjust that set against the rail. So what you do is you keep moving that bearing with your finger as you tighten that down. It only takes a little bit. And you want to tighten it just till it makes contact so that you get a really smooth cut. If these are really loose, it can cause you to get a bad cut. And on this particular side, this is a brand new one we just opened up. 2 of them are loose on here. So you do want to adjust that. The other thing you can adjust on this saw pretty easily is these 2 screws right here. You can adjust this deck in and out. So you want this to be really close to your blade, but not touching. So that when the slab doesn't go down in there. So if that's not all the way up to about there, that's a good thickness. You can adjust that over. Excuse me.
Must be DeWalt Wi-Fi. It's actually not for the Wi-Fi issue. It's not really us. Recently, just in our town where we're located, there's been a lot of Wi-Fi like shortages and stuff. Where like even at Sherman's and stuff, we just have been losing it.
Yeah, I almost never have good Wi-Fi at home.
Yeah. We haven't had a problem until tonight. It's been pretty good. Down here.
That would be more correct, David. A carriage adjustment. It's not really adjusting the vice, but the carriage. So you are correct. It must be the DeWalt Wi-Fi. That was funny.
Yeah. Everyone here is hilarious. I was just reading through the comments as you guys were talking.
I wondered why you got so quiet.
I sabotaged your mic.
Apparently. You done messed up, AA Ron. When I went upstairs, things were running beautifully, and I come back, mic's all messed up.
Listen. Listen, I'm the only one who knows how to set this up. You didn't.
I know how to set this up. Just not in 2 seconds.
Out of the 2 of us, you'd never guess. I'm the computer person. He's the mechanic.
That would probably be accurate. Well, awesome. What else do you guys want to see? What other questions do you have while we got stuff
pulled
we're
up the
setting up?
Spotlight when I was drinking. I was not ready for that. Sorry, I just got confronted with my own face and I did not like it. That scared me. It's just my face looking back on me. Oh, the do not touch me from last night. So I'm very ticklish, right? Like up here, and he pokes me right there every time. And
You can put up the other camera.
And that was the one, low bandwidth. Dang it.
Now look at that. She's trying to hit me again. So violent in this one. But yeah, she is really ticklish right there.
See, this is why I get angry. Testing my
That's what Sherman hired me for, was to test your patience. That's really the whole experiment to build your willpower.
Patience, you test mine, and it just like ladders from there. We need to hire someone who tests Zeke's patience. Anyone,
I don't know. I'm pretty
chip in?
chill.
Who wants to apply?
I don't know. I'm pretty chill. I mean, I feel like I have lots of patience.
Yeah, go clean that saw again.
That was
Oh my
not
goodness.
just the one
Oh,
saw. It was exhaustion and
So it was the first time I ever saw Zeke actually angry.
I was not
I
angry.
walked upstairs, and I'm used to his very
was
chipper,
not
happy-go-lucky self.
Angry.
I go upstairs and I go, "Hey Zeke, what's up?" And he, not a word said to me, glares me down and goes, "Huh."
No,
continues doing
she
what
was
he's
not like,
doing.
hey, what's up? She was like, oh, how's cleaning that saw going? You look like you're having so much fun. Ha ha. So glad it's not me, sucker.
Why do you have dust on your back?
That was more like what happened. And I looked up and went, because I was exhausted. Because we had to be up at like 5 a.m. after working till 1 a.m.
True. And
I
you
think that's a good
love it.
idea. Let's do a spin.
You spin me round.
Did you bring more
round,
bins?
baby, no.
You done messed up AA round.
Well, what we can do is we can do label them 1, 2, 3, 4, and then get bins when we go down.
That's what I was thinking.
Perfect. You hear that, team? I'm so sorry.
Oh, I do get hangry.
Oh yes, he does. But not as bad as me in the
We read the
mornings.
name team. I can't see it.
Ruth Kelly, I think.
Beth Kelly is not in the room.
Beth Kelly. I saw the TH at the end, so I made my best guess.
Is Beth not in the room? I take it.
Yep.
We talked her out of the room.
Apparently. Gerald. See, it's kind of meanness. Just
Gerald
mean.
is still not in the room.
All right, let's spin again.
Bam, bam. Oh, look at your grimy little mitts. Get those away.
Sharon, I'm pretty sure. Here, all right. Door 1 or door 2?
Door 1 or door 2 or door 3, because we have one mixed into the bins. Door 2.
Door 2. All right. You got water?
What?
What'd you
Yeah,
do with the spray bottle?
right.
Oh, you got that spray bottle. Here, spray this down and I'll show her. Oh, man. So, team, on this one, just put, holy crap, that's a good piece. Just put lot 2 on there.
Highlight the other camera for us, team. Wonderful. And Sharon, you won yourself a nice piece of lapis lazuli.
Yeah, holy crap, this is a good piece.
Sam.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you pick rocks in the dark. We don't have any light. The lights are not very, very easy to turn on the 4th floor. So when I was up there, I just did it in the dark. I was like, I don't know. I think this is a bit of lapis.
Wow.
Congratulations. Awesome. Well, do you guys have any other questions? Anything else you want to see before we wrap up tonight? I don't know. Did you guys do a slideshow of pictures tonight?
We haven't yet.
Well,
don't know if
usually
this team made
they
one.
do a slideshow at the end of other people's work.
I don't know if this was kind of a
Team, do we have a slideshow? Sure, Edward. You can get as many as you want.
You said this is the end of the night, but not for us. You know,
Yeah, you know.
fun? Imagine if we had like, you know, there's the CCTV where you get to watch people work. Imagine if we had that for us.
So the CB8 does not come with wheels, but the standard set that most people get is an 80 grit hard wheel, a 220 grit hard wheel, and then a 280 grit resin wheel, a 600, a 1200, and a 3000 grit resin wheels. You'd like with the soft backgrounds. I think there are combinations that you can get that are better, but like I like using the wet belt sander. So usually I'll go like 80, a 220 belt, then 600, or sometimes I'll go back to 280 depending on what I'm polishing. We do not have enough Queensland. In fact, I think we've sold out of the Queensland agates, unfortunately.
If we do have any, it's few and far between, and they're going to be like mixed in with like collection stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I think we sold all of them though.
We still we have some talking to do because I have a couple ideas for some deals.
Oh, okay then. All right. Well, thank y'all. We greatly appreciate hanging out with you. It's always fun. And I'll see. That's why I when I say, you know, we're getting down to the end of something, it's when you got to get it because then it's gone.
Unless it's that darn blasted silamine. It keeps popping back up every time we think we're out.
Well, even that, we still got maybe what, 2 or 3 pounds left. It's not much. Awesome. So recap on the deal. 5% off equipment, and 10% off accessories if you buy a piece of machine, including oil. If you're not going to buy a machine, then you can get 5% off the accessories, and 10 pounds of polychrome for 127. Normally that's 150. So that's a nice deal on the polychrome.
And we will see y'all tomorrow. And tomorrow we will have a lot more energy because we'll sleep a little bit more than we slept today.
Hopefully. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, y'all.
Yeah, I'll come back now. It'll echo so nicely in here.
It does.
All right, thanks everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow for our Rock and Rough Rock live sale. Good night.